Lloyd Bentsen, he's been many times described in his career in the Senate, civic activities, and the cabinet as a statesman. That word is overused. It is not overused with Lloyd Bentsen. He believed that a great nation should be able to provide a safety net for the most vulnerable citizens, project its values abroad, and still balance the budget.
This is a man who graduated from law school at age 21, who at age 23 was a squadron commander, and then at age 25 was the youngest county judge in the state of Texas. At age 27, he was elected to the United States Congress. And then he, at age 35, started a highly successful business, and at age 50 was able to re-enter politics and gain a United States Senate seat, served 3 terms, and then was tapped to become Secretary of the Treasury over the greatest economic expansion the country's ever seen.
My dad was on a mission when he went into politics. He really wanted to make the world a much safer, better place for everyone. And he surrounded himself with the best, brightest, most capable people he could.
You know, like so many people, I just was a big BA admirer from afar. She comes into a room and, you know, all eyes go on her, not based on who she is as much as how she holds herself. She's got a queenly presence.
My mother is an incredible person. She was orphaned, lost her parents by the time she was 8, and then lost her grandparents by the time she was 12. And then went off to school, and then she met my father and married into the Bentsen family, which was this warm, caring thing.
I went down to Columbus, Mississippi to be married. He called me a couple of days before the wedding and said that he had had to have a tooth pulled, but not to worry, that he was feeling fine and that everything would be all right. We finally met before the minister, and when the minister said, "You may kiss the bride," he said, "Mm," and ran out the side door. I went running out behind him, as I did for the next 55 years, I guess, and found out that he had begun to hemorrhage from the tooth, and went into the courtyard and found a rock that would fit into the cavity, came in, bit on the rock, and then rushed out because he realized he was going to have to. That was our wedding.
She campaigned just energetically all day long for Lloyd. His projects were hers in the sense that, you know, she believed in them too, and she did it for him, but she did it for the cause.
Anything BA did, she did very well. She was intelligent, hardworking, certainly. She seemed to have endless energy. You would see her when you knew she must be exhausted on a campaign. She was still bright and cheerful and charming as always.
She was a founder of 2 church schools. She also got involved in the March of Dimes in Washington, was very active up there. Active over in the Nehemiah Center. Up until about a year ago on Mondays, you could find her there tutoring a child. It's always just been a part of her fabric.
They were wonderful examples. They did it through love and through faith. Faith was number 1, and then family. And they always found time for all 3 of us.
What they did and the civic leadership that they provided in the Valley is just truly remarkable.
It was very impressive. Spoke a lot of Spanish to us, by the way, and flat out said, "Look, people, I'm from the Valley. You're from the Valley, and we're one group together, and we're gonna join forces."
When he was vice presidential nominee, though it was uncertain at that time as to whether or not he would be used in the debate, I think that what we recommended to him and what actually happened was of great benefit to their candidacy.
I have as much experience in the Congress as Jack Kennedy did when he sought the presidency.
My father never ever said anything bad about anybody. And then
Senator Bentsen.
Senator, I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
I couldn't believe it.
Whoa, Dad, I've never heard you talk to anybody like that.
I think he had just about all he could from that particular previous bit of conversation.
When you think about legacy, I go back to a eulogy that President Clinton offered at my dad's funeral.
When I became the president-elect, he was the first person I asked to be in my cabinet. And at the tender age of 71, a time when he could have, with great honor and grace and total good faith, walked into a richly deserved private life, he agreed to become Treasury Secretary at one of the most challenging times for our country economically in modern history.
He said, we are born to make a difference. We are born to make the world a better place than we found it.
There are two sentences, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the other is love thy neighbor. Isn't that something we can all do? It seems to me it would be easy.
Her style of civility, respect for your opponents, substance, look out for the underdog, and don't demagogue. I mean, it's just not here anymore.
This organization plays a unique role in our state. Lloyd Bentsen was a numbers and facts guy who is known in part for his influence in Congress because he knew what he was talking about. It is important to have an organization that has unbiased empirical research about what works in government and what the effect of government on people's lives is, and this organization does that. He would be proud of the values that this organization represents.